The Oklahoma City Thunder currently have the second best record in the West, and obviously the play of both Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren has been huge for this team's success. But another player that's also been having a huge impact on the court is Jalen Williams. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive on Jalen's film to see exactly what makes him so effective on the court and how he fits alongside OKC's other stars. Now, the foundation for Jalen's game is going to be his ability to put pressure on the rim. So far this year, J-Dub is averaging 5.8 shots at the rim per game, which ranks him 7th across the league for all guards. With the ball, Jalen has this unique blend of ball control, pace, and footwork. When slowing down these clips, you'll notice how Jalen is almost gliding with the ball, and this is meant to get the defense out of their stance and set up attacking angles. Watch Jalen here get to this right to left between, then skip his feet up. From this spot, Jalen is threatening this left hand blow by, and notice how this gets the defense to open up their stance by dropping their right foot, which now gives Jalen a top foot to attack. One of Jalen's go-to moves is a simple overcross, which he can effectively hit in the half court as well as in transition. Watch him here bring the ball to his outside pocket, then push the ball all the way across his frame into this drive. You'll see Jalen again here get light on his feet and float out to his right. Then from here, notice how he punches that left foot back, which pushes him downhill into this overcross. And just a quick side note, many people may argue that all the clips I'm showing are carries, which on paper is probably true. But what's also true is that pretty much every great ball handler today bends the rules, and being able to manipulate the ball does give the offense a real advantage. Watch J-Dub here push the ball to his right hand and take 5 steps before his next dribble. But with these 5 steps, he gets all the time in the world to read Tatum, and he's going to attack the middle of the floor with this cross jab, where he simply crosses the ball first, then plants his outside foot second.
Manufacture the offense here. J-Dub inside, gets it to go.
So Jalen primarily uses his handle to set up drives and attacking angles. But as soon as he gets the defense on his hip and starts coming downhill, that's when we really begin to see his physical tools take over. Now J-Dub is a stocky 6'5", and he has no problem playing physical and using his body to create attacking angles. But another sneaky physical attribute that Jalen has is his length. Jalen has a ridiculous 7'2" wingspan, which he puts to good use when attacking into gaps. Watch him here catch and rip against Derek White closing out. And with just one dribble, Jalen is able to both extend the ball through this gap and stride out into a finish. Now I don't think Jalen has the craziest pop off the floor, but he does have good body control when attacking into traffic, which allows him to stay on balance when knifing through the defense for finishes. This play really shows how effective Jalen's blend of physicality and length is. You'll see him here get back to his go-to overcross, and notice how Jalen lowers his shoulders and attacks right through the defense's reach. Then he's going to keep his body between the ball and this defender to then extend out wide into this finish. Now if defenders play good initial defense and they're able to wall off his first attack, Jalen is also very comfortable scoring in the deep paint off 2 feet. Jalen's unique physical attributes allow him to play much bigger than he actually is. You'll see him get matched up here against Dorian Finney-Smith, and Dorian plays good defense by walling off Jalen's first drive and getting him to pick up his dribble. But from this spot, Jalen has the strength and length to turn over his left shoulder into this push shot. Now Jalen is much more than just a paint scorer, and this year he's made some big improvements with his mid-range game. So far this year, Jalen is shooting over 54% on all his pull-up twos, with a pretty healthy volume of 3 attempts per game. Now most of these in-between looks mostly come to Jalen out of pick and roll, where he patiently probes off the pick and rises up if he has open space. And because Jalen has so much skill with the ball, he can also create these looks in isolation. You'll see him here refuse the screen by ripping towards his right. Then he's going to slam the brakes by going behind the back, which gives him all the space he needs to rise up. And J-Dub also likes to use his physicality to create space for his jumper. He loves getting into these left-hand drives and throwing his right shoulder into the defense. And Jalen can also use this move against bigger defenders. You'll see him here matched up against Daniel Tice. And watch how Jalen is going to again get into this left-hand drive and put his shoulder into the defense's body, which gets their momentum floating back and gives Jalen a window to rise up. Now if the defense drops back and avoids contact with Jalen, he then likes to skip out into these running fadeaways. Watch him on this play attack towards the middle, and notice how this defender opens up and drops back to protect the rim. So in response, Jalen is going to also drift back and flow into this running jumper. Now Jalen's pull-up shooting also extends out beyond the 3, and these aren't really shots he takes in super high volume. But J-Dub does have the ability to knock these down if he has space, which in return forces his pickup point to be much higher, and that opens up his downhill scoring and mid-range game. Now most of Jalen's 3-point looks come off the catch, and these shots typically find him in the flow of the game. When spotting up, Jalen has a very good feel of space, and moving to open spots on the perimeter. You'll see Giddey and Holmgren here playing a 2-man game, with Jalen spotting up just above the corner, and as Giddey starts working off the screen, notice how Jalen relocates up to the slot, which both gives Giddey a clear angle to make this pass, and gives Jalen way more airspace on the catch. I love this play here, where SGA is playing one-on-one at the top of the key, and notice how the Suns defense sinks in to collapse the floor, but to mix things up, notice how Giddey is going to cut across the paint, and both of these help defenders follow Giddey, which allows Jalen to simply fill in from behind and get this practice shot off. So as a scorer, I think J-Dub gives the Thunder everything they need. He's got the tools and skills to generate offense himself, plus he has the off-ball feel to play alongside OKC's other playmakers. Now one area of improvement I do see for Jalen going forward is going to be his decision and playmaking. Now as a passer, I do think Jalen has made some real improvements over the last 18 months, and that especially shows in pick and roll, where he's developed a pretty good pocket pass and has great touch on these lobs at the rim. This dime here is tough, where off the dribble Jalen gets this cross between, then he's going to wrap this one-hand pass around to the roller. Another really good element in Jalen's passing is his ability to quickly transition from attacking to passing. Because Jalen is such a lethal downhill scoring threat, he pretty much always pulls multiple defenders down into the deep paint, which opens up these small passing windows. Now one big area of improvement for J-Dub is going to be his ability to read the entire court. Jalen primarily makes the right reads that open up right in front of him, but he doesn't really analyze the defense one or two passes away, and Jalen's inability to see the entire floor gives off-ball defenders a license to overhelp on his drives. On this play, you'll see Jalen attacking in semi-transition, and as he lowers his shoulder and drives into the lane, notice how Holmgren here is setting this flare screen for the 44% 3-point shooter Isaiah Joe. But from this spot, Jalen is playing with tunnel vision, and because he isn't really a threat to make this kickout pass, this help defender can slide down and make a play on the ball. Again, we have Jalen here handling the ball in transition, and from this spot the Thunder are pretty much playing 3-on-3 against the Clippers. And notice how Harden here falls asleep, which allows Lu Dort to cut right behind him. But Jalen isn't able to see that, because he completely hones in on one side of the court, and he gets caught in the air, which leads to a turnover. Now because Jalen currently doesn't have the best feel of the court, he often gets himself in trouble when driving into traffic. There's many plays like this where he completely zones in on beating his man, but then dribbles right into help side. But these are issues that second-year players commonly deal with, and stuff like this normally gets cleaned up with a little more NBA experience. So moving on, the next thing we have to go over is Jalen's defense, but that part of the video is going to be exclusively on my Patreon, where you can get access to both my analysis of J-Dub's defense, as well as all my other exclusive breakdowns. But regardless, I still appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one. The kid's here.